Kanye West walking off of the Tim Poole podcast. You know what? We're gonna pay some respects to Tim Poole, and we're gonna do one of his videos. And apparently, he's talking to the black guy that met that went and became friends with the main dragon. What do y'all call it? The head dragon of the KKK. What do y'all call it? The giant dragon, the dragon chains, Dragon Ball Z.
Let me ask you about your view of how things have been going today. I mean, there's been a lot in the past several years with the riots throughout the country over George Floyd. I'm curious as to your perspective. You're older than us, and so you certainly have seen way more. Does it feel worse today in terms of the political divide than it has in the past?
I love his setup, man. His setup is real cool, laid back. Tim seemed like a cool guy, man. And I don't know why a lot of people are attacking this youngin'. For real. He got a business to run.
I wouldn't say that it really feels worse. You know, there's always been a divide, but people today are more outspoken and less hidden about their views. There seems to be a more emboldening, if you will, today. Like, you know, you see people who used to wear hoods and masks come out there with their burning crosses, and now they come out in their regular clothes and express the same views. So they don't feel like, you know, they have to hide so much anymore because their jobs are being threatened or whatever.
Yeah, the ones who don't want their jobs to be threatened, they hide their racist tendencies. The ones who work places that they don't give a damn, or they live places that won't beat them up for it. You know what I mean? They still say what they want to damn say. They still say that they don't like them blacks. They don't like them black people. You know, the N-words. But let me say this, bro. I gotta say this. If y'all listen, because I know so many black people who do not care. Who do not care if a white person is within earshot and they say they can care less. But let a white person say and we ready to fight, we ready to shoot, we ready to beat somebody's ass. We can say to each other all day long, but let one white person within earshot say then we ready to fight. Wait. But it ain't no problem at a rap concert when a rapper is up there on the stage and he's singing a song, and out there in the stands is a whole sea of white, black, Latino, all types of races out there. And everybody are saying every single N word that's in the song. It's probably like 50 per verse. 50 per verse. And another 23 in the chorus. So stop playing, man. There's a bunch of people who are hiding their faces, but the ignorance is still out there in full blast because people just want to test the daggone boundaries all the time.
When did you? So we can just get started with your story for people who aren't familiar. Do you want so just in terms of the context, I want to talk about modern politics and all this stuff and where we are now. But I think your history might lend some understanding to other people. How did you? You're famous for being the. How did you describe it? You inspired people to de-radicalize the Klan's members.
Okay, so to give you a little bit of background on myself, as I said, I'm 64 years old. But I grew up as the child of parents in the U.S. Foreign Service. So I grew up as an American Embassy brat. I was born in 1958. I began traveling around the world at the age of 3 in 1961.
So he was traveling around the world doing TED Talks since he's been 3 years old.
And how it works is you get assigned to a country for 2 years. You come back here to the States. You're here for a few months, maybe a year, and then you're assigned to another country abroad. So my first exposure to school was overseas. I did kindergarten, first grade, third grade, fifth grade, seventh grade, and all the schools I went to overseas, this is back in the 1960s, my classmates were from Nigeria, Japan, Russia, Czechoslovakia, Germany, France, Italy, Sweden.
That dude from all over the damn place. Sheesh.
Anybody who had an embassy in those particular countries, all of their kids went to the same school. So that became my baseline as to what school was supposed to be about. I had all these colors. You guys here are too young to remember black and white TV, but you know about it. I remember black and white TV, and I remember when color TV came in. It was like, wow, it's like a whole new dimension, right? You know, you never wanted to see black and white TV again. You saw something in living color. Okay, well, every time I would come back home from overseas back to my own country, the United States, it was like going from color TV to black and white, you know, because we did not have that amount of diversity in this country, in our schools. When I would come back, I would either be in all black schools or black and white schools, meaning the still segregated or the newly integrated. Just because Brown versus the Board of Education desegregated schools in 1954, it didn't mean that integration took place overnight. It took years and years.
But even in
That explains to me why he was the type of person. You have to be a type of person. And this explains to me, this actually gave me some real good insight on his mentality overall. He does not have the same mindset of the average African American who grew up in the United States, who grew up in the hood, and that's all they seen was the hood. That's all they seen. Like me, I didn't get on a plane until I was about 20 something. First time getting on a plane, going somewhere. So, you know what I mean? He didn't have that mindset. He was already used to being around white people often, being around different nationalities often. So he had that curiosity. And he also didn't believe that, hey, he was like, he found out from an early age that people are people. That's what he found out. He found out from a really early age, from going from state to state to state, country, that people are nothing but people. That's all people are. And you know what I mean? And that gave him the courage to walk up and say, yo, you know what I mean? I think we the same thing. We all just people, man. We bleed the same color. We bleed red. You know what I mean? We're all Americans here. So what's up?
in many cases, still, it's not.
Exactly. In fact, the Prince Edward County, Virginia, shut down. They refused to integrate schools, the public schools. They shut down all public schools in Prince Edward County, Virginia, not for 5 days, not for 5 weeks, not for 5 months, for 5 years.
Damn.
Years. Okay? Imagine how much education is lost in 5 years. When you go down there today, people my age, a lot of them are basically functional illiterates because they missed 5 years of their education. If they were in 3rd grade, they didn't go back to school until they were in 8th grade. That kind of thing. So you're dealing with that kind of thing. So look at kids today who have to go to school over Zoom over the last 2 years because of the pandemic. Some kids did better than others, but a lot of them did not do so well over Zoom because they weren't getting that personal one-on-one education.
Well, as an aside too, I don't want to derail too much. I think we're going to start seeing something similar because schools have started adopting ideological praxis in their teachings. Mm-hmm. So instead of telling a kid, 2 + 2 = 4, they're saying 2 + 2 = 5. Well, in what context are we talking? So you actually had a viral trend where teachers were saying 2 + 2 = 5.
In what context? It was that 2.4 plus 2.4 equals 4.8, which is rounded up to 5. So
He looked like white Jesus. You know the picture of white Jesus? When you was growing up and your grandmother had a picture of white Jesus in her house? He looked like white Jesus.
if you round,
I have to say white Jesus because there's a bunch of people out there who argue you up and down the daggone street with the color of Jesus like that damn matters. It does not matter, people. We focus on the wrong things. Why are we so damn obsessed with being right about everything or being on the right team and not being on the wrong team? We need for something to look like us. We need representation. I need Jesus to look like me. People are ridiculous, man. I swear to goodness. Just by looking at this dude that reminds me of white Jesus, that just reminds me of how ridiculous people are. I get a kick out of just people watching. People watching is my sport. I think that's honestly, I think that's one of my superpowers. People watching. Don't make no daggone sense.
Down 2.4. I don't know what kind of simplicity mess they were.
He looked like Hassan Piker. And Vosh had a baby. Vosh, you talking about the big guy, the big boy.
Were intending, but
it's an issue of tribalism, and this is it's part of the polarization. The idea is that the people on the right started saying 2 + 2 is 4, and sooner or later the woke people are going to say it's not. And then a point was being made by, left tribal people where they're like 2 + 2 could be 5. Here's how. And then they say 2.4 rounds down to 2. But 2.4 plus 2.4 is 4.8, which rounds to 5. Therefore, 2 + 2 is 5. And then most people who are reasonable are just like 2.4 plus 2.4 is 4.8. End of story. If you want to make some weird equation that omits information for the sake of making your strange argument, I guess. But they're teaching kids this. You also have a lot of the critical race theory ideology stuff in schools where the kids are getting more of this kind of social emotional learning as opposed to actually learning stuff.
Okay, so let's define.
How about the school system just teach what's going to help people get careers. Teach that. And allow, this is a crazy idea here. It's a little radical. Allow parents to teach the rest. All right? Because what's happening is we're forcing our ideologies on other people's kids. And what goes on in certain people's houses is just some freaky sugar honey iced tea that does not need to bleed over to anybody else's children. Let's keep it a buck. So we need to stop teaching certain things just because that's how we feel should be in the school system all of a sudden. No, my kid does not have to understand why you want to cut your daggone dingling off. My kid ain't got to understand that. My kid came to learn daggone colors, ABCs, and going to go home and practice them with their parents and then come back and then learn some history and all this other stuff. That's going to help them get a job, get a career, start their own business, go out there and do their own thing, tapping into their talents and gifts, their natural gifts and talents. Like allow them to explore their gifts, you know what I mean? And let people teach the other stuff to your own kids in your own house. How about that? All right? Or you have your own little private neighborhood committees that teach your neighborhoods about certain things like that. What y'all trying to do is push every single thing down people's throats, and that's not cool. I'm fine with people being whoever they want to be. Be what you want to be, because I ain't got no heaven to put you in, no hell to put you in, and no heaven to put you out of. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have to answer to God. You're gonna have to answer to the Lord and Savior. You will. I ain't gonna have to answer for you, and you're not gonna have to answer for me. Do your thing. Just stop trying to leave the kids out of it. How about that? Wait to college. How about that? Wait to college. That's where all the woke teachers are anyway. Wait until kids get into college and then start teaching them all that stuff about all the unnecessary things that's going on.
Find two terms that you use just so that everybody's on the same page, not just us here, but everybody out here listening to us. So let's define the term woke. Your definition of the term woke and your definition of the term critical race theory.
Woke is typically a reference to like a left tribal identifier. So it has a reference to critical race theory, critical gender theory. It encompasses these different schools of thought. We got to define all these things. Critical race theory is basically it gets tough to actually. Is that a stink bug? Critical race theory.
I'll explain it, Tim, because it seems like you're having a hard time, brother. Woke are all the people who want to accept every single new thing that's happening in the world. Every new ideology, every new person rather they done snuck in the country or got here the right way or not, they don't care. Like if somebody's feeling a new way, we're going to adapt that too. Somebody don't want to follow the old rules, they want to follow the new rules, they're woke. It's like you sleep if you follow the old rules and you follow the old laws, and you're woke if you follow the laws I'm telling you about that they don't want you to find out about. But if you read and do your research, then you're going to see that they trying to hide these things from you, my brother. See, what you're doing is you thought you were smart the whole time, but the entire time you was asleep. You was asleep, huh? That's what you was. But now I'm about to wake you up with this wokeness, this woke-tisitatious.
Theory is critical theory in a racial context. Critical theory is the political theory of the oppressed versus the oppressors. With Karl Marx back in the day, his critical theory was that the wealthy oppress the poor.
Listen, I'm enjoying that conversation. I hate to do this to you. I'm gonna check out the rest of it on. I'm gonna do a second half, checking out the other half of this, because I'm not gonna take up the entire live with this right here. And plus, it seems like he's trying his best to skate around. He's doing, look, what he's doing right now is he's trying not to offend anyone while answering this question. That's what content creators have to do. It's like a little dance you got to do. It's like, because if I offend anyone, then the likelihood of this being spread as far as it could possibly be spread is going to go down. It's going to lessen. It's going to decrease. So I need to make sure that I'm not offending anyone and I'm breaking this down properly. Like, I'm giving you the correct answer to what it is. You know what I mean? And this is, it's just getting a little uncomfortable just watching him try to tiptoe around it. But it was good to see the guy, what's the dude name anyway? A famous jazz musician uses music to de-radicalize members of the KKK. Okay, I didn't know he was a jazz member. Daryl Davis is his name. Okay, Daryl Davis is his name. So shout out to Daryl Davis, and I have a better understanding of who he is and why he decided that it was cool to just run up on the KKK and say, "Hey, I want to be fun. I want to be friends with the Grand Wizard. What do you say? No? All right, y'all don't like me? Okay, all right. I don't want no problems. Okay, I'm just going to tiptoe up out of here. I don't want no issues. Okay, you can put the crosses down." Oh, that was not funny. All right, so, yeah. Y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know. That was cool.